All right, today we're going to dive into a free tool that could totally change the game for how you think about sound design. And it all kicks off with this really big question. Seriously, just think about it for a second. What if you could build any VST plugin you can imagine? I'm talking a custom synth with a sound no one's ever heard, or maybe a generative MIDI effect that actually spits out melodies for you, a super complex audio processor built just for you, exactly how you want it. And what if you could do all of that for free? Yeah, because that's exactly what we're looking at today. This thing, it isn't just another plugin you download. Nope. It's more like a complete sound design workshop, all packed into one little file. So, okay, what is this thing really? It's called Crescendo, and at its core, it's a free programmable VST plugin for Windows. Now, programmable is the key word here. It means you can literally, I mean literally, build your own custom instruments, your own audio effects, MIDI effects, even full-blown sequencers. And you do it all just by writing some simple text. And yeah, when I say free, I mean actually free. You can use it, copy it, share it with your friends, no strings attached, not a single penny. Okay, so one of the first things that's really, really clever about Crescendo is how it deals with compatibility. You know how DAWs can be picky? Well, to make sure it works with pretty much everything, it's kind of like 3 plugins in one. So when you download the zip, you're going to see 3 different files. You'll see one for instruments, another for audio effects, and a third for MIDI effects. But here's the kicker, and this is the really smart part. The code inside all 3 of those files is exactly the same. It's identical. The different file names are just a little trick to tell your DAW, hey, put this one in the instrument list, or this one's an audio effect. That way it always shows up right where you need it. All right, let's pop the hood. Let's really get into the nitty-gritty of what makes this thing so unbelievably powerful. So everything inside Crescendo follows this neat 3-step process. Think of it like an assembly line. First up, it grabs all the incoming MIDI data. So, your note presses, your controller movements. This is where you could build your own arpeggiators or sequencers. Then, once it's processed the MIDI, it moves to the next stage, layer processing. This is the fun part, where the actual sound gets made. And finally, once the sound is generated, everything gets mixed together and sent to the post-processing stage. This is for your global effects, like adding a bit of reverb or some compression. It's a full signal chain, and you are in complete control from beginning to end. Now, to really get a sense of just how deep this rabbit hole goes, listen to this quote directly from the documentation. It says, each automatable parameter can be automated with an unlimited complex formula that in turn can have automated parameters that can be automated with a complex formula, and so on. I mean, let that sink in. It's like automation within automation within automation forever. You can create these insanely complex nested chains of modulation that you can't do this in most other plugins. It's wild. So what does all that programmability really mean for you? Well, it means you basically have an infinite toolkit at your fingertips. And this right here, this is the perfect example of that toolkit in action. So on the left, that's what Crescendo looks like out of the box. It's a blank canvas, right? But look at the right. That's a completely custom sequencer that a user built from the ground up. They design their own knobs, pick their own colors, their own layout, everything. And that's the big idea here. You're not just using a tool, you are literally building the tool. And the list of features that comes packed in is it's huge. You've got Sound Font to import. It's got FFmpeg support, which means you can load audio from pretty much any video or audio file you can think of. It has full MPE, that's MIDI polyphonic expression for all you expressive controller players. It even supports microtonal tuning with Scala and tune files. Plus, you can just drag and drop samples, tunings, and like we saw, you can completely customize the entire interface. Colors, fonts, knobs, the works. And this image just hammers that point home. You're not just messing with a few presets here. You are building the entire thing from scratch. This simple reverb on the screen, a user made that. Every single knob, every parameter, the actual math behind the reverb algorithm itself, it was all just typed out in a text file. That's incredible. Okay, so at this point, some of you might be thinking, hang on, if this thing is so powerful, why is it using the older VST 2.4 standard and not the new, shiny VST 3? And that's a great question. Let's get into it. Well, the answer really goes right to the core of what Crescendo is all about. It really all boils down to one word: flexibility. See, the newer VST 3 standard, it's pretty strict. It makes a plugin choose its identity right at the start. It has to say, I am an instrument or I am an effect. You have to pick one. But the older VS 2.4 standard, it's way more of a free-for-all. It lets a single plugin be an instrument, an audio effect, and a MIDI effect all at once. And for a tool like this, a tool that can literally shapeshift depending on the code you give it, that flexibility is absolutely essential. So you see, this wasn't some kind of mistake or oversight. It was a very deliberate choice. The whole philosophy behind Crescendo is to put unrestricted creativity first, even if it means sticking with an older standard that doesn't get in the way. And that really brings us to the final takeaway here. Crescendo isn't just another plugin you add to your collection. It's an empty workshop. It's a blank page just waiting for your ideas. So the real question isn't what can Crescendo do? The real question is what are you going to make it do? So I'll leave you with this. If you had a tool with absolutely no limits, what's the first sound you would create?